Welcome to Mom Talk, episode
5. Can't believe it.
Yes.
Can't believe it.
I'm Jen.
I'm Tanya.
And we're excited to be here another week with you.
Yeah. It's kind of like our episode number 6. We just did half of this, and then I looked down to see our time, and then I said, does that say start recording? We forgot to hit start recording.
Yeah, I thought I hit it.
So we had a really good conversation with ourselves and the laptop, but
we're going to try again.
Yeah, now we're going to ask you to join. So, coffee. What do you have in?
I am drinking a mocha swirl, which was a very brave choice for me because in the summer we bought some mocha swirl coffee that was a different brand, and
It's not good.
we really like mocha.
Like cafe mochas and stuff like
Yes,
that.
but this one from the summer was terrible. Like
It was yeah.
I said it tasted like sludge. Like it was awful.
Yeah, and the problem too, I think you had bought in a box because the one, like, we like the caramel drizzle, like the Starbucks caramel drizzle or Folgers and stuff. So you had bought in a box. I didn't know that. I went to the store and, because we were staying at separate quarters, I went to the store and was like, oh, they don't have any of the caramel drizzle. Well, the mocha swirl. So she had a box and I had a box, and it was so gross. So we had 24 to go through. So we gave it to my husband, who like will drink any kind of coffee because he has an addiction problem with that.
And a lack of taste and smell.
And a lack of taste and smell. It's so true.
Yeah, but even he didn't like it.
He didn't. He drank it, but no, we still have a few at our house, remember? Last week I was like, oh, we have no coffee, and I'm like, we have the Swiss mocha.
Mocha swirl, whatever.
Thank you. And Jen's like, don't do it. I'm like, but I need coffee.
It was so gross. But this is very good. And I think this one was decaf. I can't remember, but it's very good. Oh no, I'm going to need to take some melatonin tonight.
Oh man. Now, I was really excited about this because it's called Vanilla Spice. It doesn't taste that good.
That's too bad. Is it just lack of flavor? It's not enough?
Yeah, and I think it just, I don't know. I don't know. I think lack of flavor, it's just kind of blah. And there's a taste in there that I'm like, I don't know.
Well, it was vanilla spiced, right? So maybe that spice is setting you off.
Yeah, but I was thinking it would be more like like Christmas spice or something like that. That's what I was expecting.
It doesn't smell like that.
Or taste like that.
That's too bad.
Anyways, our week.
Yeah,
March break.
We just finished March break. I spent my week procrastinating and writing report cards, which is really great. My house was clean for like 24 hours, which was really awesome.
It was. I spent my time relaxing at the beach, just...
She's lying.
Chilling. No, we had an extremely busy week at the church. Activities and events every single day. And only one day that I was not a part of the activities and events, but...
Which day was that?
Monday. Volleyball.
Oh.
I still worked. I still went and worked because I had to get stuff done, but it was extremely busy and lots of, like, just... Some people weren't able to show up for the one event, so then I had to fill in there. And then we had power outage when we had 25 kids coming and right during our program. But
my kids loved the programs. It was a lot of fun. The Nerf was their favorite.
We did target practice around the church. So we had like targets set up, and one, they rotated through...
stations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And in the sanctuary they had Nerf guns, and they would like fly by Nerf fight, and then we had hula hoops from the ceiling, and they did bow and arrow through it and stuff. And the kids were great, and they really enjoyed it. But I felt like I did fairly well. Usually I have to process and like have a plan, but
you had a lot thrown at you last second.
And you think quicker on your feet. But I felt like I handled it okay.
That's good.
But yesterday was hard. I was so drained, and that comes out with my mind, so like emotional, and just I felt very, very drained. But today I'm feeling better, so that's
so good. Mm-hmm. I'm really glad.
Yeah.
I'm really glad. Well, this week we wanted to talk about an interesting topic. Maybe you can relate. So to give you some backstory, At our church, we recently just had some transition in our leadership. We had a pastor for just over 15 years, and he was a great guy. I was on staff with him for a number of years. Your husband was on staff with him for a number of years, and we were on staff at the same time, which was a lot of fun.
Not me and her.
No,
him and
her husband. Yeah. Anyways, and he was our pastor from when I was a young adult, just ending my teen years, right up until my third child he dedicated, I think.
Yep.
And so because of that great relationship, I had a really kind of solid understanding of my role in the church and our church community. I felt like I knew where I belonged, what I could offer, what I couldn't offer, what my place was, what my responsibility and roles were, and what I was not needed for.
And you were relied on a lot to fill in gaps because people knew your abilities and different things.
Yes, lots of areas that I was involved in. And so I was out almost every night of the week. Scott would stay home with the kids, really actively involved. And in the last 2 or 3 years, there has been a lot of change. So we have a new pastor, and
COVID and everything like that too. As well, things change.
Yeah, we have this. So we have this new pastor, and we love him and his family, and he's great. It's just different, and so it's been hard on me to try and figure out where my new role is. And in addition to that, we've had a lot of growth in new people coming to our church, which we are excited about, and a lot of talent and abilities to add to our volunteer base, which we have been praying for and are so thankful for. The flip side is now I don't have to be at everything and be actively involved in everything. I'm not the go-to person for everything anymore, which is great.
But it's been a bit hard.
But it has been a really difficult
And your and Scott's
transition.
Role has kind of switched a little bit where he's out a lot for church things and being on the board and helping with different things, and then you're home in the evening.
Yes.
And that can be, transitions are hard, and to find your place. And we were talking earlier in the week, about when you have a child and they grow up and then they move on and you're like, where do I fit? How am I needed? And all those transitions can be that can be hard, and trying to, what's my identity and where do I fit?
And so it's been interesting kind of a thing playing with my mind as to who I am. And so in addition to that, I know I mentioned in our first episode that I believed I have ADHD, as my children do. And so I got brave enough to talk to my doctor, and she gave me some screening questionnaires to complete. And she said, I'm going to give you the screening for ADHD, anxiety, and depression. Do you feel depressed? And I said, no, I don't feel depressed.
I'm not focused enough for that. I'm not going to hyper-focus on that.
I don't have time for that. And she goes, well, I'm going to give it to you anyways. I said, oh, no problem. I'm not worried because I'm not depressed. And I had my follow-up. And she said, you do screen positive for ADHD. You do screen positive for anxiety. And you do screen positive for depression.
Welcome to the club!
Which was really interesting. Another friend of mine recently was diagnosed with depression as well, and she did not handle that news well. She said she really struggled with it because she didn't believe that she was depressed. And so she asked me, how did you handle that? And I said, I think I'm the happiest person to be diagnosed with depression. I was so excited.
It's relieved of stuff that didn't line up before didn't make sense. Okay, I get that.
Or why I feel things so much stronger. The idea that I have ADHD and anxiety and depression now, everything's starting to make sense as to where my role is. Why is this change so difficult? And why does my mind not feel...
And the days of just you shut down because you're just done and you just shut down and want to be in bed.
Yes.
And,
there's so much that's makes sense. I was saying it reminds me a lot of, there's an episode of How I Met Your Mother where every character has this negative flaw, and when it's revealed there's glass shattering, and then that's all you can hear. For example, someone who chews really loud, and then all you hear in the rest of the episode is every time they chew. And that's kind of how I felt. I didn't realize I was depressed, but once she told me, I went, Oh, actually, the biggest thing that I really loved that she said was because I kind of questioned her a little bit. Like, are you sure I'm depressed? Like, isn't it normal to have mom guilt? Isn't it normal to get overwhelmed and whatever? And she said, yes, but the way you're describing the guilt and those kinds of emotionals and the like 0 to 10 emotions, the lack of control of your emotions, she says that's not normal. And I went, oh.
I have a hard time with the word normal, but that's another issue. But it's definitely a red flag of something else and something
and I
more.
really like, to me that was really freeing to be like, oh, so like the struggles that I'm having, because you see it everywhere on social media and everything, like, oh, like it's normal to feel mom guilt, but let's put it aside and blah blah blah. And
there's a degree of it, but
course.
It's how much it's affecting you and in what ways, and for sure. There's
and it was really helpful for me. And anyways, it's been interesting to look through my life, and so I'm on medication now, and it's not fully, I think it takes 6 to 8 weeks to be fully activated, so I'm not that far in,
which has been a bit tricky because like I've said before, I struggle with depression and anxiety and have been on numerous different medications for, like, maybe they stop working or just to try to find the right dosage or right medicine and with the least side effects and stuff like that. And so there's been a change in you, and that's been really hard to watch somebody else go through that, knowing when I've been on different medication it's affected me, how it really can mess with your mind. And we're kind of at that stage of, okay, like, sticking to it, checking in with the doctor on Wednesday, not still sure if this is the right medication.
You are more not sure than I am. I'm very naive and I'm just gonna go and do,
which is great, but there has been some times of being concerned, and
you're not the only one. Some other people have mentioned some things.
There's, and it's not like just a bit off, so we had a moment yesterday that I had a long week and was very tired, and we were at a church event and we couldn't find you. So Scott and I were kind of looking, and just kind of like, she was very like solemn during the event, and we asked James where you were, and he said that you went for a walk. Jack said you went home. We're looking around. The van still, like, Scott went outside. We looked all around. Finally, we go up to the school, and you're in the office. But I called her twice. I think I messaged you. I'm not sure. Okay, no. I called twice, and I get up to the office, and she's talking with the principal, and I'm just like, you can't do that to me. I said I called you, and she knew, like, right away. She's like, I know, I'm sorry, but it was hard. I cried a little. Like, I didn't cry. I teared up.
You were emotional.
And I was emotional and went to my office and sat for a while because I really care about you.
Yes.
And
I felt bad, but it was really great for me.
It was really great for me that you felt bad. No, there's more to it.
No. I had a awkward moment, and it was really playing with me all week long, and so to be able to have a conversation to kind of clear the air, and like I walked away feeling
a lot better. And today, so like better. You are,
it's hard when you have like a misunderstanding with someone and you don't get a chance to
resolve it
right away. It's that can be really, really difficult. I think it makes me think of the verse in the Bible that says, don't let the sun go down on your anger, right? Like, when you let something just kind of stew, and in my brain, it's building and building and building.
And the other person was like, oh, I didn't even realize.
It was no big deal at all. Which is often normal in my life.
So she comes into my office, and I apologize, and I'm like starting to like awkward tear up, and she's like, can I give you a hug so you cry more? I didn't. No,
the hug was good.
It was good. And so, but it's hard to see people you care about going through struggles, especially when you've had similar struggles and you kind of have an idea or like in mind of what could be happening in their brain and facing. So it's a challenge, and we're still like keeping our eye out, but you definitely are more you today. So that's exciting. And hopefully it will help for sure in the long run. So
cool.
Yeah.
So you have a video for me this week?
I do. It's not a funny video. In a sense, it's more a serious thing. So we might
With
have
Elise?
Yes.
I love Elise
Okay.
Myers.
She's really good.
What did I want to be when I grew up? Great question. I would love to tell you. I was asked this question many times, obviously, as every kid is, and I had the same variation of one answer. To not look fat in a sweatshirt. Not a vet, not an astronaut, not the president, just not fat. And if that doesn't tell you how powerful your words are, I honestly don't know what will. Your words matter, period. Whether it's just your ears hearing them or it's a small child that is looking to you to literally form the way that they see the world and themselves in it. So the way you speak about yourself matters. I started a rule when I was pregnant with my son where I really struggled to like the way that I looked in photos. I've always been afraid of the camera, and I decided I don't want to pass that on to my son. I'm not going to do that. So I decided every time I saw a photo of myself, I was going to pick one thing I loved about myself. And I was not going to ask for it to get retaken because I thought I looked bad. I wasn't going to comment on the angle. I wasn't going to comment on the size of my body. None of that matters. That's not what the photo's for. It's for a moment. And I want to remember that moment forever the way that it was, not the way that I thought it should be. So I pick one thing that I love. And if that's as simple as the color of my jeans that day, that's what I'm going to comment on. I want my son to know that the way that he looks is the least interesting and important thing about him. And I wish I could get the years back that I wasted trying to make my body a size it was never meant to be. And I can't get those years back. But I can teach my son how to not do that in his life and to treat other people accordingly like that, like their looks are the least interesting and important thing about them. And if I can do that, I will be so proud. Thank you.
Oh, her videos are so great,
Yeah.
eh?
And I really, I thought it was good. Scott actually sent it as a suggestion for tonight. But
That's because he's a photographer. Yeah, he's a photographer, and I don't like my picture being taken.
So what it made me think of actually was as a kid, and I remember, I don't know if my mom knows this, but I remember standing at the bathroom door and my mom's putting on her makeup and me saying, "Mom, you're beautiful." And she kind of brushed off like, "Oh no," like something like that. And it stuck with me that I wasn't almost allowed to accept a compliment of like you're pretty or you're beautiful. So
which
kind
those
of
can be very difficult to accept.
it can be, and I'm not faulting her at all.
No.
But through our relationship, Brian and I must have shared the story or something, and it must be pretty impactful because I still remember her putting on the makeup and stuff. And so Brian said to me, if our children ever say that you are pretty or beautiful, your only answer is thank you. I was like, okay. And that's been hard, but also we don't know somebody's perspective. And I mean, and being a larger person and, you know, like sometimes that's wonky in my head of like how I feel about that. But still accepting that, okay, you're beautiful. Like my child sees me as beautiful,
Yes.
or Micah likes my jiggly belly because it's
And
squishy. And I'm
really-
I'm like, thank you. It's comfy.
And really, we are beautiful, right?
We all-
Like God
no matter
created us,
what
and
size, and it's our identity can't be in that. I meant to say too, with your identity, it just makes me think so much of the scriptures and songs about I am who you say I am and our identity in Christ. But yeah, like a photo is not your identity. Your
No.
body type is not your
and
identity.
everybody can take a bad photo. It's a split second, right?
Yes, but I really like even if it's the color of my jeans,
I know.
or something like that. I'd be like, ooh, there's a cloud up in that corner I like, but I know that's not the point.
I saw that and was like, "Oh, what an excellent challenge!"
Yeah.
To be like, "Okay, I'm going to see this
Yeah.
photo, and I'm not going to focus on the double chin or the wrinkly lines
Yes.
or whatever. I'm going to say, oh, look at my shirt.
or
That's
look
a
at
great
my
shirt."
or look at my smile. I look happy.
Yes.
Or different things. So I thought that was a really good video
Yeah.
and important. And
And very encouraging. I like challenging us to focus on not so much the negative, because it's too easy to focus on the negative.
It is, and we're setting that up for our kids then,
Yes.
right? So, and I want my daughter to know she's beautiful and my son is handsome and God has created them that way, and have confidence in that.
Yeah.
Our time is flying.
Yes, so we're going to end
Yes.
with a fun thing.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about, well, not really talk, mention,
Share.
share about a favorite field trip that we had. Now that things are opening up and schools might have that opportunity to take field trips and do things. So from our childhood, a favorite one.
Field trip. Did you have one off the bat?
I do. It was a combination. So there was, I'm not sure what grade, but it was all Cornerstone once I went there. And when we went to the Science Center in Toronto.
Nice.
And that was really cool. Like the hair sticking up was the best memory. So that was really fun. And another, my grade 8 year, we went and stayed overnight somewhere. And within a matter of like 20 minutes, I fell in the water with my clothes on because I'm klutzy and I was just being
Was
silly.
that in Ottawa?
I
Did you guys
don't
go to
know.
Ottawa? I feel like I remember that
Maybe.
story.
And it was like it was kind of chilly, but and that was funny. It was funny because people laughed, and I am a big fan of, even if I look like a fool, if other people laugh, win.
Win.
What
I really liked going. So we didn't really go to the theater as young kids. That was kind of not something our family did. But on one of the field trips, we got to go to an IMAX video, and that was really, really cool. And my other favorite memory was, as an adult, I got to be a chaperone on the grade 8 field trip at one of the schools I worked at, and that was a blast. We went to Canada's Wonderland in the morning and a Blue Jays game in the evening.
Oh, that's busy.
It was super
So tired.
busy, but it was
good?
so much
Nice.
fun, and I have so many memories of that, and
Very
it
cool.
was really great.
Very
So,
cool. Building experience, and yeah, that's awesome.
just getting away from our little tiny small town, right?
It's true. It's true. Well,
So,
Well,
thank
that's
you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed hanging out with us. Let us know your favorite field trip memory in the
or
comments.
transitions that have been challenging, of like finding your
Yes.
role in different places and situations like that.
Yes,
We
and
love to hear from
we
people.
really do.
It's really encouraging because we're putting ourselves out there, and we're hoping it encourages people, and that people will be like, oh, I went through that, or make you laugh sometimes. But it's helpful to hear back so that we know that what we're doing is okay, and it's touching people. So
Yeah, we really enjoy hearing from you. So we look forward to that, and we will see you next week.
bye.
Bye-bye.